1 minute coming at you from the Redneck Riviera. For those who know what I'm talking about, you can see the fishing rods right there. You can see the pier right there. You can see my boy right there. And we are headed out yonder. Can I just say to you, the Spanish are running. And by that, I do not mean individuals with their Nikes on. No. If you like fishing, it's on, y'all. All that said, I want to spend time with the Lord and certainly wanted to spend time with you, and we're going to do so from 2 Samuel chapter 5 through 8. As you come to our Bible reading today, focus on the bottom of that Devo, will you, where it covers the first part of chapter 6. I don't want to take the time to do it because I'm going to spend my time on the back part of chapter 6, but it's important you get those rails greased going into this part of the Devo, and certainly as you get into your reading today. Now, I say that because where we pick up is where David is in a very distraught place. He has been in a funk. I mean, man, he's been bothered about the price that was paid of worshiping God in the wrong way, therefore not being worship at all, God not accepting such, and God taking very serious his presence and the mishandling of such. He comes and he's been in a funk. He don't even know if God's going to allow him to usher in the presence of God. He don't know if God's going to allow him to have that touch again, and yet God has given him an indication that yes, he is. And in doing so, it was going to be for the people's good. It was going to be for the glory of God. And so David got ahead of that glory and just could not compose himself. He's ecstatic for the answered prayer. He's ecstatic for the joy back in his soul and in his heart, for hope being where fear was. And he could see in his mind's eye what good it was going to again be for those people and glory for God. So he's rejoicing. He's excited. He took off his royal wardrobe. He's making much of the Lord. It's not about attention on him. It's attention on God. It's not about him getting his glory, but God getting his. And again, he's thrilled and wants others in on it. Looking out the window is his wife, Michal. Now, Michal is his first wife. She's Saul, the enemy of David. It's his daughter, and she's looking out there, but she's not focusing on worshiping God. She's focusing on despising Dave. Yes, the Bible uses the word that she despised him in her heart. How do you get there? Well, we go back in her life and we look at when they first were put together, as it were. Man, I don't know if she was ever interested in Dave as God, but she sure was interested in Dave. Man, to have a feather in your crown, knowing that you got the man who was the hero of the land, that had to be something. And certainly it was so. Saul was willing to hand his daughter's hand to Dave because he wanted to get his hand on David's life and thought he'd have access to it in a more greater fashion with her being in it. And that was true. However, when it came time to exercise the plot to kill Dave, she narked on Daddy, and Dave was spared. And yet, while Dave's life is spared, Saul, still being king, took her and brings her, gives her to another. And for 14 years, she's away from David until 2 Samuel 3 records that he comes and gets her back. Now, all of that said, whether she's mad at David because he didn't come back fast enough, whether she's blaming Dave because it was all about him that it had to happen, whether she's mad at God over the whole circumstances of her life, whatever happened is during that time frame, something different about that girl now. She's looking out that window. Here they had the opportunity, this new life restored back together again, and now God's worship restored for the land. Dave wants her in on the action. He comes to the door of their home, as it will. He wants to bless his house, and as he comes to his house, she opens the door, as it were, and instead of worshiping God, she mocks David, and in mocking David, she mocks God. There would be a price to be paid. The Bible tells us in chapter 6 over and again that she is the daughter of Saul, the daughter of Saul, the daughter of Saul. It's interesting because she's the wife of David, but it don't say that over and again. It keeps reminding us that she's the daughter of Saul. Why would it do that? Because the history of Saul, when she would see how her parent acted, when pressure would get in his way or things would not go his way, he would act out of jealousy, bitterness, anger, and envy, and sin would be the result. And now the apple has not fell too far from the tree. She's acting just the same. The Bible says she'd die never bearing children. And so I ask, you may have physical children, but have you ever won any spiritual children to the Lord? And if maybe you haven't, is it because you're so consumed with some kind of bitterness or envy going on in your life that you've distanced yourself with the relationship of the one who you need to have with to bear those children? Learn this lesson. God bless.